I think it's more. I even think it's easier. The striking on the feet. I think it's easier than Bilal because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style.
Jack Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Jack Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Jack Della Maddalena is ready to defend his belt against Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. However, he has shocked everyone by claiming that Bilal's striking is better than Islam's and he will easily beat him. In a recent interview, Jack Della Maddalena claimed that Islam Makhachev's striking is easier to adjust compared to Belal Muhammad's. He explains that Islam tends to stay in one stance with a more traditional style, which makes him more predictable. Still, he acknowledges Islam is the pound-for-pound number one and admits it's a tough fight. Jack adds that the plan is to study Islam's fights closely, build a solid strategy, and prepare accordingly.
I mean, it's just I think Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. I think his striking on the feet is. I think it's more. I even think it's easier. The striking on the feet. I think it's easier than Bilal because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style. But yeah, he's the pound for pound number one. So it's a tough fight. But I guess we'll just watch all these fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown, but I'm pretty confident I can get this one done.
Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, reacted to the statement and warned Jack Della Maddalena not to underestimate Islam's striking. He says that if Jack walks in thinking it will be easy, he will quickly realize it's a completely different story. Mendez stresses that no striker is an easy time with Islam, and once inside the cage, things feel very different from what they look like on the outside.
JDM did an interview just, I think, this week, and he broke down that he believes Islam's stand-up is a little bit easier to deal with than Bilal's because Islam has more of a traditional style for his stand-up. Do you feel like people are kind of missing some of the X factors that Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody on the stand-up. No, any MMA fighter that's a striker that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid like going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So no. Don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole different ballgame.
On the other hand, Jack Della Maddalena's coach, Ben Vickers, expressed strong confidence ahead of UFC 322, saying Islam Makhachev wouldn't be able to withstand Jack's power. He explained that unlike Belal Muhammad, Islam doesn't have the same durability, and if Jack lands clean, the fight could be over instantly, whether in the first minute or in the later rounds. Vickers added that Jack's combination of cardio and knockout power makes him a threat at any stage of the fight.
I just don't think Islam has the chin that Bilal has.
You feel like it's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round, or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute, it could happen in the 24th minute, it could happen in the 24-minute 59 seconds, it could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights, he likes to be in there, but obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight, I really do.
Ben Vickers says he doesn't expect Islam Makhachev to come in recklessly, noting that Islam is too composed and skilled for that. He believes Islam will still look to close the distance early and force Jack into his grappling game, even if just to wear him down. Vickers explains that staying on the feet too long exposes Islam to Jack's power, just as Belal Muhammad experienced. For that reason, he feels Islam will want to avoid prolonged striking exchanges and bring the fight into his own world as soon as possible.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think it's straight away shooting in, establishing his wrestling, getting JDM up against the fence, or do you think he goes out there and actually tries to test his striking against you guys?
No, I don't think he's going to go out and try and test his striking, but I also don't think he's going to rush. You know what I mean? He's a very composed guy. He's a very high level, skillful person. You know, he's not going to rush and be running at Jack's hips, you know, but he is going to try and get hold of Jack as quickly as possible, even if it's just to try and tire him out in the early parts of the fight and get him into his world quickly. He will take damage from Jack as Belal did if he's on the feet. So I'm sure he's going to not want to be there.
Ben Vickers points out that Khabib Nurmagomedov often pushes Islam Makhachev to wrestle more aggressively, so he expects that influence to show in this fight. He believes Islam will look for takedowns early, though not in a desperate or reckless way. According to Vickers, Islam's composure and striking ability give him the confidence to stand when needed. But the clear plan is still to drag Jack Della Maddalena to the canvas. He describes Islam as calm and calculated, never rushing but always working toward his grappling advantage.
For as long as possible. And we've all heard Khabib in the corner really like chastising Islam when he doesn't go for the takedown. So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy is cool, calm, collected, and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So I think he's definitely going to go for takedowns early, but I don't think he's going to like charge in and try and get the hips at all costs. He backs himself on the feet. He's a decent striker, you know. So but I do think his game plan is to put Jack on the ground.
On the other hand, Michael Bisping believes he wouldn't be surprised if Jack Della Maddalena pulls off an upset at UFC 322. He points out that Jack is the bigger fighter, has already proven he can defend takedowns, and brings some of the cleanest boxing in the UFC. Bisping believes Jack is operating on another level right now and sees a real chance that he could still be champion when the fight is over.
So Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, that has been announced, but I'll tell you what, Jack Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Jack Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Michael Bisping further said that he is surprised that Islam Makhachev is such a heavy favorite against Jack Della Maddalena. He feels the odds are disrespectful, pointing out Jack's 18-fight win streak and his recent win over Belal Muhammad, where he defended every takedown. Bisping warns that if Islam chooses to stand, it could be a mistake, since Jack's boxing and footwork give him a real chance to win.
It's an interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak. He just beat Belal Muhammad. He defended all the takedowns there. He's beaten grapplers before in the past. Yes, Islam Makhachev is incredible, you know, and he'd be another contender for pound #1, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call it. But Belal Muhammad was a perfect warm-up fight for Islam Makhachev. And with the boxing of Jack, if Islam was to stand with him, that'd be a bad idea. With Jack's boxing and the footwork that is associated with boxing, that's going to help him. That's going to be very advantageous. He knows how to defend the takedown. He knows what he's doing off his back. He can get back to his feet. So yeah, I mean, I understand why Islam is a slight favorite, because he's tried and tested and the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen. But don't be surprised if Jack Della Maddalena gets it done.
However, Colby Covington picks Islam Makhachev to defeat Jack Della Maddalena. He acknowledges that Islam may be the smaller man since he's moving up from lightweight, but emphasizes that his all-around skill makes him dangerous. Covington believes that if Islam gets the takedown and maintains control, he has a strong path to victory. He also finds the size difference intriguing, but ultimately sides with Makhachev as the betting favorite.
Islam versus JDM. What do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, you know, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, you know, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, you know, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
Robert Whittaker shared that he is still surprised that Islam Makhachev gave up the lightweight title. He explains that while fighters sometimes follow trends, this case feels different because Islam is one of the UFC's biggest stars. Whittaker believes the promotion would want him to keep the belt for as long as possible, which makes the decision all the more surprising.
You know what I think was unexpected was the relinquishing of the lightweight title.
They don't want to do it anymore. No one can be double champ technically anymore.
I expected it in a sense that because Topuria did it, people would have to follow suit. But Islam's kind of like the poster boy right now for the UFC in terms of like mega star sort of things, right? Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, because I think double champs has really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again.
Robert Whittaker further breaks down the matchup and gives the edge to Jack Della Maddalena. He believes Jack's grit and resilience will help him deal with Islam Makhachev's wrestling pressure. Whittaker points out that Jack's striking could be the difference if the fight stays standing and suggests Islam may be cautious with constant takedowns, knowing Jack is still a threat off his back.
I'm going to go Jack. I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Robert Whittaker predicted that Islam Makhachev would rely on his kicks, noting how effective they were against Alexander Volkanovski. He pointed out that Jack Della Maddalena has struggled to defend kicks in the past, which could leave him open if Islam attacks that area often. Whittaker added that after slowing Jack down, Islam could then mix in takedowns to take over the fight.
Yeah, I do think Islam has got the kick superiority, and if Jack doesn't address that, which he hasn't in a lot of his fights, the kicks, he's going to get kicked a lot, okay? Islam likes throwing kicks. He used that very well against Volk as well. I think that's going to be a game plan of Islam, is try and wear him down with those kicks, take a takedown when they see him, but I can see him really going heavy in the kicks. External factors aside as well, Jack has nothing to lose.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean? As well. And I think Islam's got everything to lose. He's the hottest prospect right now in MMA.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sean Brady admits he's rooting for Islam Makhachev, viewing a future fight with him as a career-defining moment and the ultimate grappling test. He says he would love to challenge himself against Islam's ground game to see who proves superior. Still, when it comes to making a pick, Brady leans toward Jack Della Maddalena, arguing that the underdog isn't getting enough credit and has the ability to shock people with an upset.
Selfishly for me, I would want Islam to win because I want to fight Islam as for a legacy thing. And I think I can beat Islam. I think I can beat anybody in the world. And I want to grapple. I want my grappling to go against his grappling and see who's better. You know, I really would love for that to play out. But if I had to pick, and I know Jack would be the underdog, I would pick Jack.
Furthermore, Carlos Prates and Henry Cejudo also weighed in on whether Islam Makhachev's style could cause problems for Jack Della Maddalena. Prates admitted he once thought Jack would have a tough time after his injury and time away, expecting him to only scrape by with close wins. But he has been impressed by the progress Jack has made. Cejudo added that Islam presents a whole new challenge, with his elite top control and relentless pressure being unlike anything Jack has dealt with before.
I was thinking Jack Della Maddalena would lose. He got injury, and I was like almost 2 years without fight.
Yeah.
And then he come to different level, bro. He was like gonna be a board fight by points and things like that. But bro, what he did was really good work. He grew up a lot.
Yeah, but
he come a different level.
Yeah, but Islam is a different animal. And if there's one thing that I could say in that fight, Islam Makhachev, he gets on top of you.
Yeah.
He's a blanket, bro. The top control that Islam has in comparison to Bilal is completely different.
On the other hand, Alexander Volkanovski expressed excitement over Jack Della Maddalena's growth, especially after his dominant win against Belal Muhammad. He felt that performance was the perfect setup for a clash with Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski pointed out that Jack's improved takedown defense and believed this version of him is far more dangerous, with the skills to challenge even elite wrestlers.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. You know, I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, you know, worried about, you know, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. You know, only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Israel Adesanya also backed Jack Della Maddalena to finish Islam Makhachev. He argued that Makhachev would struggle with Jack's scrambles and his ability to reset once back on his feet. Adesanya showed full confidence in Jack and confirmed he plans to watch the fight live.
Della versus Islam. Della is going to get it done. Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because his scrambles are crazy, and I feel he's going to knock him out, because I just think he's not going to be able to hang with him on the scrambles, or when he gets back up, I really think he's going to get him, and I can't wait till that happens.
Moreover, Luke Rockhold described Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena as a challenging and thrilling matchup. He named Islam, Ilia Topuria, and JDM as his current UFC favorites. While acknowledging Jack's wrestling skills, he believed Islam's lifelong grappling experience gave him the advantage. Rockhold also noted JDM's size could pose a challenge, depending on how Islam adapts to welterweight, adding that having trained with Islam, he could see the difference in size firsthand and was eager to see how it affects the fight.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. He's fun to watch. So, I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but, you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown. You know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
Meanwhile, former welterweight champion Belal Muhammad predicts that Islam Makhachev will rely on his grappling and disciplined approach to control Jack Della Maddalena. He highlights Islam's ability to stick to his game plan as a major strength. Muhammad reflects that maintaining focus in striking exchanges has been a personal challenge, and notes that every fight reinforces the importance of strategy, patience, and composure in the cage.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down? Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Like, Islam's wrestling really good. Like, even with me, I like really commit to it. I took it down. Their team's so good at like hacking at game plan and sticking to it.
You said that you kind of abandoned the game plan a little. You think if you got a rematch, you would change the game plan a bit?
No, I mean, honestly, I think I won three rounds, but you have to go out there and make it more clear. When you get into the cage and you're fighting, right? You get into that, like, I feel like striking. Let's keep going. I was doing well with it. Let's keep going. If your coach is trying to get you to focus on the game plan again, it's like, nah, man, I'm doing well with it. You're thinking you're doing better than you are. Every fight you gain something from it, right? This fight I gained something from it.
Yoel Romero also weighed in on the welterweight division, highlighting Jack Della Maddalena as a serious threat to Islam Makhachev. He praised Maddalena's combination of cardio, striking, and underrated wrestling, along with his size and physicality. Romero called the fight a true 50-50 battle, believing JDM has the tools to compete with anyone at 170, including the champion.
What about Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, who is a new champion in welterweight division?
It's hard because Maddalena have a very good cardio, very good puncher.
Yeah. It's not bad wrestling too. It's not bad wrestling. It's a 50-50.
50-50, but Jack has not that high takedown defense. You know,
but punch it. He have very hard punches.
And he will be more powerful than Islam, right? Or
that's exactly
because of the weight difference, right?
Yes.
Or Islam is too big for.
No. That guy Maddalena is big for 170. He's big. He's big.
So that's all for today's video. What do you think about this epic matchup between JDM and Islam? Share your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out our other videos for more awesome MMA content.